You are listening to the podcast of the Mathias Corvinus Collegium, the largest talent management institute in Hungary. If you want to know more about our mission, please look up our English website at mcc.hu/en or check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. For interesting articles and analysis of our professors, external contributors, and students, look up our knowledge base at corvinus.hu/en.
Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast series Asia Meets Hungary, prepared by the Learning from Asia project at MCC Learning Institute. My name is Bimba, a junior researcher in the Learning from Asia project, and within the project we have an Asian PhD students community, and it's called Asian PhD Forum. Today we are hosting this podcast by having a guest from Kazakhstan. And actually she's now Dr. Saule. So we have invited Dr. Saule from Kazakhstan, and can I please ask you to introduce yourself briefly?
Hello everyone, my name is Saule Anafinova. I'm a graduate of the PhD program at the ELTE Doctoral School of Education in Budapest. Last year, I defended my dissertation called Asia-Europe Inter-University Cooperation, the case of tuning Central Asia. And in the end of 2023, I finally received my PhD diploma in a beautiful graduation ceremony, which was conducted according to the beautiful traditions of ELTE University.
Thank you very much, Saule, for coming today and taking your time. So we always start the podcast with the common questions. What is your story? Why you come to Hungary? Were you specifically thinking about coming to Hungary, or was there any story? What is your story?
I was recommended to the program by my boss. So my boss at the time advised me to apply for the Stipendium Hungaricum program because she knew that I have wanted to be a researcher since I was young. So basically, since childhood, I was really active student at school, later at university, and I was really curious, and I had interest in different subjects, which was my issue at the time, because I was confused that people were building walls between different subjects that a person is supposed to study, for example, either a chemistry or a biology, although in nature these things are not divided. So chemistry and biology work together in reality. And I always wanted to study everything. So currently I have interests in educational research. I have experienced in the open science movement, which I would like to tell you about. Since being young, I dreamed to become a researcher, to contribute to the knowledge of humanity.
Wow. After you come to Hungary, is it your first time in coming to Hungary?
Yes, I came to Hungary for the first time. Although when I was a child, I read a book called Tanar úr kérem by Frigyes Karinthy. And Frigyes Karinthy is a very famous Hungarian writer. Basically, when I was about 12 years old, I discovered his book in my family library. And it was of course it was in translation, but the translation was high quality. And in this book, Tanar úr kérem, he represents the main character who dreams that he is a child again. He dreams that he's back to school. And he in this dream, he sees his childhood school, and he is really sad to see everything, because he realizes that he didn't value the happiness of his childhood. And he tries to talk a little bit strangely to his friends, and his friends look surprised at him because they don't understand the reason of his weird behavior, and that he is an adult who just traveled back in time. So basically, this is how the introduction to the book starts, and the book has wonderful humor because, and as a child, it helped me to relate to Hungarian culture. Although I lived 1,000 kilometers away from Budapest, reading Frigyes Karinti's book helped me to relate to children from other countries.
I see. So basically, because of that book, you were inspired to
learn more about Hungary.
Wow, that's interesting. And after you come to Hungary, can you please tell us your story? How was your beginning of living in Hungary?
The beauty of the Danube River amazed me. So I loved Budapest since the first day I was there. But when I saw the Danube, I fell in love.
Yeah, me too.
It's a beautiful
was very
river.
Beautiful. When you come to that faculty, was there any difficulties or challenges that you've experienced in terms of academic environment? And, was there any academic challenges you faced? So was there any differences from the Kazakhstan context and jump into Hungarian context, or more broadly European context? How was it?
Research on its own is a challenging journey. And of course, it was not easy to do a PhD, but I'm happy that I could overcome many obstacles, and I just enjoy studying. What I can say is that there were some similarities and differences between Hungarian PhD and there were some similarities and differences between my Hungarian PhD experience and my educational experience in Kazakhstan. The biggest challenge in my PhD journey for me was that many times when I wanted to publish in good international journals, it took these journals a lot of time to review my articles.
Oh, yeah.
So the better the journal, the longer you have to wait.
Oh, yeah, that's, I think, most PhD students.
And PhD students cannot afford waiting because we need to publish articles in order to graduate. So when you are a researcher who is not preparing for a dissertation defense, when you already work as a researcher in some research institute or a university, then you are not in a hurry. You can write 2-3 articles and it can take you some time. So over 2-3 years, you can publish them. But as a PhD student, you cannot afford waiting.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't mind, how many articles have you published?
About 6 to 7 articles.
Wow.
Including conference papers.
And Q1, Q2?
I think I have one research article in a so-called Q1 journal and one book review in another Q1 journal.
Wow, that's amazing. Saule, we have visited the Esztergom High School. I think it was last October. And we had this beautiful opportunity to visit as a group and as in PhD students. And we got an opportunity to interview the teachers and students, even observe the classroom. So my question is, I think it's your first time visiting the high school, even for me. And what was interesting fact that you found when you had this school visit? And was there anything shocking to you if you compare to your home country's education system?
No, actually, the opposite. As a child, I studied in a Bishkul secondary school gymnasium. And when I visited Doba Katalin Gymnasium, I was so surprised at how similar the building and the yard of the school was to my childhood gymnasium. That if one of the teachers from my childhood accidentally walked in these halls of Doba Katalin Gymnasium, I wouldn't even be surprised. So I was surprised at how similar my school, where I studied, was to the Hungarian school where we went to.
Wow. So in terms of classroom, in terms of school, in terms of teaching, learning, so it was quite similar to Kazakhstan.
It was very similar to my school.
And how about the number of students in one classroom?
It's also approximately same.
Wow, so you did not find any differences. Wow, that's interesting. I think maybe because we share this socialist influence, that's why we had this similar background.
What about your school? Was it too different from Katalin Gymnasium, or was it similar?
It was, some things were definitely different. For example, the uniform, the way the students act in the classroom in front of teachers, because in my country we follow this very traditional Asian hierarchical learning.
Mm-hmm.
But it was different. The way the Hungarian students were interacting with the teachers, I felt like it was more equal than hierarchical. In your Kazakhstan, the country, can you please walk me through your education system? So I'm really wondering how the education system is and how was it influenced to be developed. For example, in my case, in Mongolian case, we were heavily influenced by socialism. That's why the education system was influenced, and I'm pretty sure we have a similar story, but I really would like to know the insights of the Kazakhstan education system. Can you please walk me through?
Yes, in 20th century, Kazakhstan's education system was very, very similar to the education system in other socialist countries. So, in connection with this, I think that's why many things in Hungarian education system are more understandable to me. But in 21st century, we are still influenced by European countries. For example, Kazakhstan is currently a member of the Bologna process. This is a process which was aimed to reform the university education in European universities. It started in early 21st century for Kazakhstan, and we joined the process on the year when Hungary was the chairman of the Bologna process. So although we are a Central Asian country, we applied to be a member of the European Bologna process.
I see. Wow, interesting. And how about the education structure? How many years do you have? You have 12 years or 11 years for the secondary school?
We currently have 11 years for the secondary school, although I heard that there was a plan to move towards 12-year education. However, so far, I haven't heard anything about whether this reform would be large scale in Kazakhstan. I've heard about some schools who adopted this 12-year education system as an experiment. So we are waiting for the results.
Ah, I see. And for 12 years, then after that you have 4 years of higher education, then master's 2 years, and 3 years of PhD.
Yes.
Wow. I think it's pretty much similar, but only the difference between Mongolia and Kazakhstan is we have 12 years and you have 11 years. And I'm wondering, because when I was working in the Mongolian National Institute for Education Research in Mongolia, we had guests from Kyrgyzstan. And that time they were talking about bilingual school. So Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, you border with each other. I wonder how is in your country in terms of the language. Do you have bilingual schools, and do you have bilingual classrooms? Of course, at national level. And how is it? Because you know Russian. How many languages do you know, by the way? Let's start from there.
I know Russian, Kazakh, Hungarian, English.
So Kazakh and Russian. So in your country, you learn. So
and I studied basics of Arabic language.
Wow.
So yes. So people. There are many different schools. So I would say it of course depends on the school. How many languages are used in that school? There are many schools in Kazakhstan which are bilingual. For example, they actively bilingual or trilingual. Also, I'm not an expert on the topic, but there are schools which actively employ Kazakh, English, and Russian languages in their education system. So, yeah, that's a pretty big topic in Kazakhstan.
But what is the medium of instruction? Kazakh or?
It depends on the school. So in some schools, the language of instruction can be Kazakh or Russian or English.
And when you were studying in high school or the secondary school, what was the medium instruction?
I studied in Russian language.
Russian. And so you spoke Kazakh in your family, within your family?
My family was bilingual. So we spoke both Kazakh and Russian in my family. And I also have aunts who teach English. So some members of my family also spoke English.
Oh, I see.
With me.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And how about the textbook when you were studying in secondary school? Which language was it?
I studied in a school where many students were speaking in Russian language. So we studied, all the textbooks were in Russian, except for classes of Kazakh language and Kazakh literature or English language or German language classes.
Wow. So you also, is it common to be taught German in school?
It used to be more popular in the past. And I think that English, I'm not sure about now, but I think that in the 1990s, English became more popular than other international languages.
Oh, I see. And you mentioned that it depends on the school, the language changes. So you mentioned that depending on the school, the medium of instruction, the language changes. So do you have more schools that employs English as a medium instruction?
Yes, we have.
Than the Kazakh one?
We have many different schools, really. So we have government schools, private schools, but one school network which has been popular in Kazakhstan for many years is Kazakh-Turkish lyceums. So these lyceums are established in cooperation with Turkish education partners. and although these schools are in cooperation with Turkish teachers, they use English a lot as a medium of instruction. Although I don't know percentage, but I know that in many classes you can hear English language. And I think it's great for work experience. So, because today, if we want to develop successfully, if we want to spread our influence in different countries, we need to be able to speak English. So I think it's great that students can learn many languages. You know that in the past, children of European aristocrats spoke many languages. They spoke German, French, Italian. It was a normal thing for them. So today, everybody has the opportunity to learn different languages. This is great.
I'm also wondering, this is also a very interesting question for me. And I always ask around my colleagues, that what was your routine when you were in secondary school?
I think our classes started early. Now I don't remember, but probably from 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
And then we studied until 1 o'clock. So there were 2 shifts in our school, morning shift and afternoon shift.
Oh, same, exactly. It's exactly same.
That's what I'm saying.
Even in my country, we still have the 2 shifts.
Yes, and the challenge of the morning shift was to wake up.
Yeah.
But then after your lessons are over, you are free to do whatever you want. You can go to some school club. For example, I was president of the debate club in my school.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go home, meet your friends. But the challenge for the afternoon shift was that you would come home late from school.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's you don't have any time to do anything after that. Although maybe you are more free in the morning. But it's not the time where you can meet your friends. Yeah. In the morning. Morning is not the time when you can meet your friends.
Yeah, because the school starts, right?
Yeah.
And when in my country, at least in my generation, we used to sing the national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you used to sing?
Yes, we did. We did that as well.
Before every lesson started?
No, only on Mondays. In my childhood, it was on Mondays.
I see. So we were talking about the learning in your country. So I want to shift it to the teaching part.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were communicating with the teachers from the Esztergom school, high school in Esztergom, we get to know some information related to teacher. And so I'm wondering, how is it in your country? How is the salary? What their status is? And is it difficult to be a teacher and to teach in Kazakhstan?
I think teachers are respected in Kazakh society overall. I don't know the details about teacher salary, but I think that talking to different teachers, I heard that Kazakhstani government has supported teachers and has introduced different rewarding schemes for teachers. However, despite this, I think that despite all the good things that our society is trying to do for teachers, I think that teachers need much more support and they need even higher salary than they have. Because I read one article which said that despite all the good things that we are trying to do to support teachers have too many hours in Kazakh schools and universities. And in addition to many teaching hours, teachers in all countries have to check homework. So they have to check homework, they have to prepare their lessons. So overall, I think that teachers in all countries today are overloaded and underpaid. So I would say not just I think Kazakhstan has issues in teacher policies similar to those in other countries.
When you visited the school in Stergom, and did you have any thoughts that, oh, okay, I can bring these aspects from my home country, and vice versa, I can bring these aspects from the Hungarian education to your country. Was there any thoughts when you had the school visit, or even after the school visit? Did you have any thoughts?
I just enjoy all the positive experience of meeting Hungarian colleagues and discussing education issues which are so important for the future of the whole world. And I'm really grateful to MCC Tanulashku Tata Intezet for creating this wonderful academic community of PhD students and researchers where we can meet and engage in discussions about various education topics. I think it's a great privilege and honor for all of us that we can meet like this, because in adult life you try to focus on practical things like finding work or or family issues, but it's really great that you can meet here and talk like this.
That's very true, and I'm very thankful for that we had the opportunity to visit the school. And we unfortunately our time is flew very fast, so I would like to go to the end of our podcast. So I would like to know about your PhD degree, specifically your topic. And so I'm really wondering, what was your topic, and can you please tell me?
So in my dissertation, I studied inter-university cooperation between Asian and European universities, and cooperation between Kazakhstan and other Central Asian countries has been influenced a lot by the European Bologna process. So in frames of the external dimension of the European Bologna process, European education became much closer to Central Asian education. And one way to achieve this closeness was facilitated through the creation of the competencies framework. So basically, when universities collaborate, they have a lot of bureaucratical issues, and one of the barriers for inter-university cooperation is that students may go to study the same profession in different universities, but these universities can teach them different things, or universities can focus on different things in their program. And then if you want to become an exchange student, or if you want to study in another university, how to make sure that your education gets recognized by your home university. And so competencies are aimed to creating the bridges between educational programs to ensure transparency and recognition of academic degrees and courses. And I applied international relations constructivism as a theoretical lens for my approach, which was a bit innovative because I adopted a theory from the field of international relations to study inter-university cooperation. As inter-university cooperation has two dimensions. One is educational, and second is diplomatic. So, and these dimensions, so cooperation between universities take place along these dimensions. And I studied both dimensions. And basically, we can see that competence-based approach has become like an informal international norm in higher education, which has guided behavior of universities because universities wanted to achieve transparency and comparability of educational degrees. And because of that, universities who wanted to improve their international cooperation with other universities adopted a competence-based approach. And there was a bit of big discussion whether knowledge of students can be measured through competencies. So this is a very big debate because skills and competencies are more market-oriented than the knowledge per se. So I would say that while skills and competencies may not represent the knowledge of the student, but they can still be a useful framework for supporting cooperation between universities.
Wow, that's a very interesting topic because the competence-based education is actually the main aspect of my dissertation. But yours is in higher education, but mine is upper secondary school. And it's very innovative that you have used the theory from the international relation and to study this aspect. And I'm really interested to, have to read your dissertation, especially focusing on the competency-based education, which would help my dissertation to develop further. And I think it was very innovative and interesting and probably helpful for the future PhD colleagues. And the last question is, you have been this part of the Learning from Asia project and you finished your degree in Hungary. So what aspects would you bring it to your home country to improve your education system?
I think that one thing which I really liked in Hungarian universities is that research and scientific activities are organized in research groups.
Yeah,
where there is a principal investigator. I didn't observe this so much in my country. Maybe we have some research groups. Of course, we have some research groups, but in Hungarian universities, this is organized very well. So they have many Hungarian universities organize their education separately from research, and so education takes place within educational programs, but research takes place within research group, and there is like principal investigator. So as a researcher, you can join some research group and learn step by step from your senior colleagues. I think this is a great thing. It can really help. It could really help Kazakhstan universities. So this is one practice that I really like.
So thank you so much, Saule, for taking your time and coming here today. Saule, the last moment is for you. Is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, thank you very much to the great host, Bamboo Saren, of this podcast. Thank you very much to the Tanos Kutato Intizet. It was a pleasure to join you today, and I wish everybody a nice journey.
Thank you very much, Saule. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this MCC podcast episode. For further media content, please look up our English website at mcc.hu/en or look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to read more by our professors, external contributors, and students, check out our knowledge base at corvinus.hu/en.